Welcome to this week's edition of Wolves Weekly. I'm your host, Mark Colachico, the Director of Media Relations here at Western Oregon University. I'm joined today by the newly crowned head men's basketball coach, Jim Shaw. Jim, first of all, welcome to Western.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it's one of those that it's a kind of a welcome back, though, for you. You're an alum. Talk a little bit about what drew you back here to Western.
Well, the Northwest is the region of the country I consider home. In the majority of my adult life, I've actually lived in the state of Oregon. I've coached at Chemeketa, University of Portland, and Oregon State, as well as being a student athlete here. So Oregon's a great place to live. Western's a great place to work, and so it was just kind of a combination of things.
And talk a little bit about what your expectations are for the program. You're coming off a GNAC regular season championship, first 20-win season since 95-96. 4 of the 5 starters are back next year. What are your goals for next year?
Well, I think it starts with having a great month of May. You know, I've talked to the guys about the fact that they did as good a job as they could under a difficult month of April. You lose your coach, I don't care, for whatever reason, and Brady did a great job, and he'll do a great job at Regis as well. But when your coach leaves, there's a void there. And so this month, though they did as much, I think, as they could, at the same time, it's not the same as when you have a coach in place. So the first goal is for us to have a great month of May. And then hopefully that'll lead into a great summer and propel us into the fall. And then we'll talk about team goals when we get that far. And
then you talked about being an alum. You know, you played here in the early 80s when it was known as Western Oregon State College. You were an NAIA All-American honorable mention. You played under a great Hall of Fame coach, Jim Botan. Talk about those days of being a student athlete and how you transpire those to now being a head coach at Western.
Well, I had a great time when I was here. College, I've always said, was the best time of my life. A combination of fun, minimal amount of responsibility, and played in a good basketball program for a great coach. So I had a great experience. If I could transfer my experience over for everyone, I would be happy to be able to do that. And I played with some really good players, and I played for a really good coach, and I think the formula there stays the same. You got to get good players, and you got to do a good job of managing and coaching them.
And then talk a little bit about beyond Western, what you've done. You've had success wherever you've gone, whether that was University of Washington with Coach Romar, coaching some NBA players there with Brandon Roy. You worked also under Kelvin Sampson at University of Oklahoma. You worked most recently under Randy Bennett at St. Mary's. You know, talk a little bit about those experiences and how those have prepared you to become a head coach.
Well, I've had an amazing journey. I started out at Idaho State with Coach Botan, and we were the last team that made it to the NCAA tournament there. And this year I was back in Pocatello for the first time. We were recruiting a kid since I left there, and that picture's still hanging there. And you think you're aging good till you see that. And then after that, I was at Chemeketa Community College with Rob Chavez. We won an NWAC championship, put together a 33-0 team, which is maybe the only team that's been undefeated in NWAC history. And I learned a lot from Rob organizationally, a lot of different things. He was certainly a good mentor. I worked at Oregon State. Gary Payton played. We won the conference championship. It was an incredibly exciting time in Corvallis, and it's nice to see him getting some sparks going there again, and his son being a big part of it. But of all the guys that I've coached, and I have coached 18 NBA players, so I've been doing it a while, he's still the best player I've ever coached. So that was for a kid that grew up in the Northwest, to be able to coach at Oregon State was a great experience. And then after that, I coached at Southern Utah and Montana State, had a great time up in that region. Was part of a really, really big turnaround at Montana State, and got a lot of momentum going there. We had a lot of fun. And Mick is now coaching at Alaska Fairbanks, so that'll be interesting. And he's a good friend and a good mentor. I was at the University of Portland with Rob again, and we were fortunate. We went to the NCAA tournament, which is the only time in school history that they've done that, and we had some good success there, and it was nice being back in the Northwest. And then after that, I was at Oklahoma, and when I was at Oklahoma, those 5 years were unbelievable. I mean, we won 3 consecutive Big 12 championships. We went to the Final Four and the Final 8. We were won over 30 games. We were a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. I mean, we did a lot of really special things there. And Kelvin was probably all around the most gifted guy I've ever worked for in terms of everything. I mean, he just didn't have any holes in his game. He's like a very complete player, only a very, very complete coach and leader and recruiter. And then I was at Washington and was a part of some really good success there. We won 5 championships, 3 tournament championships, 2 regular season. And in those three tournament years where we didn't win the regular season, we were either second or third. So we had some really, really good teams there, went to multiple Sweet 16s, had a lot of extremely good players. 6 of them were playing in the NBA playoffs here. A couple of them have been eliminated. Isaiah Thomas with the Boston Celtics, they were eliminated. Quincy Pondexter with the New Orleans Pelicans, and they were eliminated. And Terrence Ross from Portland, Oregon with the Toronto Raptors, they were eliminated. But Spencer Hawes and CJ are still alive, and they play for the LA Clippers. So I got a team to follow there still, and so it's been a lot of fun.
And then talk a little bit about, as you say, you're an alum. How are you going to utilize not only your connections with the alumni here, but also new alumni that's been around within the program since you've left? How are you going to utilize those and really reconnect those with the program?
Well, I think the ones that I played with are obviously easier. You know, they were supportive of my candidacy and guys that I have some friendships with anyway. And the new ones is just to get in front of them anywhere I can, anytime I can, talk about Western, what we have, what we're about, how we're going to play, why it will be fun to watch, why we need their support, and then really need to do a good job with the current students on campus and try to create a real passionate fan base. I mean, 200-300 students can make a lot of noise, so we need to get a wolf pack going, that's for sure.
And then finally, the last question I would have is, without giving away, obviously, X's and O's and plans and team goals, things like that, but look a little bit towards next year. Look at the GNAC in particular. There's a big target on your guys' back. You guys are coming in, like we said earlier, 4 out of 5 starters back, defending conference champions. You've got the likes of Seattle Pacific, Central Washington. They're going to all be gunning for you. You know, what are your kind of benchmarks as you look towards the GNAC next year?
Well, first of all, I'm familiar with the GNAC because all the years at Washington, SPU and Western Washington were pretty close, and it's a tremendous conference, and those are outstanding programs, and I know that they'll be very good, and adding Concordia to the league will help, and so the conference speaks for itself. There's been a national champion out of the conference. There's been multiple Final Four participants, so the conference is amongst the best in the country. And I talked to our guys a little bit about the shift of being the hunter to the hunted, and I think that is a part of the maturation process, and we need to prepare for that. And the only way I know how to prepare for that is just to work hard, get better. And if you do that, and people still want to take that shot at you, then that's what you want.
Well, Coach, we definitely welcome you to the pack. We wish you much success for the rest of this academic term, and then obviously next year. And fans, just be sure to tune in to woowolves.com to find out all the latest and greatest about men's basketball. We'll see you again next year, and as always, go Wolves!
Thank you. Now, where does that show? Who sees that?
It'll go up on our website.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. It'll what I'll do is Jeff will put it all together, and